Dude, welcome back to the Fit Coach Go program. In this session, we are going to run through your training blueprint, and it's probably the most exciting section within the Fit Coach Go program. And the reason being is it gives you the opportunity to design your own resistance training program. And I get it. There's a lot of conflicting information online, whether you should be training 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, even 6 days a week, what exercises you should include in your program, the number of sets, the number of reps, whether you should add intensifiers such as a drop set or even a superset. I'm going to break it down in your training blueprint, but what I will say is that regardless of any blueprint that you design, consistency always wins. So if you want to create a low barrier to commitment, I would recommend starting with a 3-day training split. I would also argue that a 4-day training split is going to be the sweet spot. 5-day training split, it really depends on your time availability, but also enjoyment and satisfaction around your training days, whether you enjoy push-pull legs, whether you enjoy upper lower, or whether you enjoy full body, or even the bro split. So here we can see that the program itself is broken down into 5 sections: push, pull legs, upper, full body. That is not a training blueprint. That's not a training program you should be following. What we need to do is actually think about, okay, how many days do I want to train per week? If it's going to be 5 days per week, well, you will use these 5 sections and you will design them from scratch. So push, pull legs as an example. But again, if you can't train 5 days per week, you can maybe step down to 4, you choose an upper lower program, or you even step down to 3 and you choose a full body program. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to start with push. On the left hand side, we've got an exercise order. We then have the target muscle, and then we have the exercise selection. Now, depending on what your gym has, that will dictate the exercise that you program for yourself. For example, if you don't particularly like doing an incline barbell chest press and you prefer to do an activation movement such as a pec deck before you go into your main compound, which in this case is going to be an incline machine press, well, all you need to do is find the pec deck in that drop down section. It will automatically update the explanation of how to perform a pec deck, and there's also a video tutorial in there of me performing that exercise. Now, this is where it gets interesting. We've broken it down into 4 weeks, and would I be doing a set of 6 on pec deck? Potentially, but again, it really depends on the rep range that you enjoy and how you program your sessions. So let's say, for example, you did do a 3x6 with pec deck, which I wouldn't typically recommend. I would use a wide variety of rep ranges, such as a 6 to 15. Some guys even like to work between 5 to 30 reps. I would say the sweet spot is anywhere between 6 to 12 reps. For myself personally, I do like to work between the 6 to 9 rep range. And whilst that might seem a lot of information and a lot of conflicting rep ranges there, find the rep range that works for you and work in a variety of different rep ranges. So let's say you did a 3x6, okay, and let's actually swap that out to the incline barbell chest press. Well, you might do that for 100 kilos, and then for week 2, you might then increase that load by 1.25 to 2.5 kilos and match the sets and the reps. Then for week 3, you then might actually increase the repetitions by 1. So we're now doing 102.5 kilos if you decided to increase your progression by 2.5 kilos for 7 repetitions. And then I might increase the load again. We're matching the repetitions, we've increased that load. Now, again, this training blueprint is ultimately your own. Depending on how you program your sessions will dictate your progress. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, I've given you a few examples of how to design a full body training split: upper lower, push pull legs, bro split, push pull legs, upper lower. But I want you to imagine that this is a tabula rasa, which means a blank slate. For push, again, you might start with the pec deck. There we can see the notes has automatically updated. We then have the target muscle. We then have the video breakdown. You get to choose your sets and your reps. I shall see you in the next training.
I like the way you kiss me, I can tell you this.